Honey, but I know they're lying. I'm sitting here waiting, wasting loads of gas, you know. Line ain't moving long, and there ain't no other way to go. Waiting.
Welcome, YouTube people who like pedals. And finally, we got guitar players here. I mean, you know, most of the time we have bass players, and I got nothing to talk about really. And
you can thank me for that, having guitar players at this thing now.
We're gonna talk about exactly that. And so we got Stevie Salas here, who you know, you guys might know, might not know who he is. I freaking know who he is, and I love the stuff he's done. Which is why I said, oh, Stevie Salas here, please put him on the interview thing, and they were kind enough to do this. So, and thanks for coming and hanging out with us.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
I got a little channel, you know, tiny thing. You guys know you're very special for coming here, weirdos. And we talk about, I test pedals and guitar stuff and pedal boards, and that's what we do.
You hang around with Juan already all day too, going through all those pedals?
Have done it.
Yeah.
And then Rex Brown came in and Juan's like, hey, Rex, what do you play? And I'm just sitting there like, what's going on here? I mean, come on, this is crazy.
You know, Juan used to tour with me before he was in Mars Volta. Yeah, Juan and me go way back, and now he's doing this incredible stuff with the pedal. He really understands sonics, man, so he's a perfect guy for
and he likes to go out there. He's not okay, and I need a bass, a compressor, and that's it. He likes to go and do messed up stuff, which is cool.
He's bananas, man.
He's
out of his mind.
If you got the music where you can do that, go ahead and do it.
He creates the music where most people say he couldn't do it, and somehow he finds a way to do it and make it musical. Yeah. I mean, he's played on a lot of my old records too, so he's an incredible, like a musician's musician.
And a super kind guy. I mean, I frankly had no idea. Phil X was like, hey dude, this is Juan. I'm like, really? So Phil said, who cares? He has pedals. I'm like, okay, let's talk.
He's got mad pedals.
Yeah.
Like I got bags and bags and bags of pedals too, but Juan, like, somehow, he's like, you know, him and Doug Wimbish, both another bass player I play with, they both got these massive, like, pedal setups.
I watched a video of it, there's no wallpaper in his house. It's just pedals.
Yeah.
I'm getting there. I'm buying more rack drawers after another, and I don't want to get rid of them. And if I test a pedal, if I don't like it, I just like to have it. It's a sickness.
Yeah.
It's a true sickness.
Yeah. Did Phil X tell you, though, you know, we got him those little mini wah-wahs that Dunlap makes? And Phil's going to start wearing one around his neck like a hip-hop chain, you know what I mean?
Well, what do you think about the mini wah?
Do you want the God's honest truth?
Yeah, please.
I haven't even tried it.
Okay.
Because I'm so happy. You know, I'm the guy that helped start the 535Q wah. That was like my wah. Dunlap and I, we worked on that one, you know, with Sam and the guys at Dunlap, you know, years ago. So that's always been my wah. The 535Q was like, I mean, that was my wah. And I'm happy with that wah. I like the idea of the little wah because I'm getting tired of carrying around. You know, I'm getting wahs now made out of lighter material and things.
But it's a wah has a certain physicality to it.
Yeah.
You step on it, you want to put your weight on it, and not just thinking it breaks, but also you need to balance on it.
Yeah.
And if you're really getting into it, I'm thinking that mini for something that you handle in that way is counterproductive. And the other thing is, which I'm doing some consulting for some companies in China, and they were like, we want to do a mini wah. I'm like, look, if you do it mini, you're not saving pedal board space because all the space around it, you can't put any pedals because your foot has the size that your foot has.
You know, I never thought about that.
So what is the benefit of having a small wah?
You know when it works? Like Phil X told me yesterday, he's going on tour with Bon Jovi, and he only needs a wah for one song. Phil X isn't, you know, Phil isn't a wah guy. I'm a wah guy. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah.
I mean, that's my thing. I used to do like full magazine articles just about wah-wahs with me and all over the world.
So then I'm not going to ask you about it because we've already talked about it.
Well,
sorry, no wah.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. But my point is that I'm a wah guy, so I use it so much and I rely on it as an extension of my leg and my arm, you know what I mean? Where Phil could just plug in direct into an amp with not even a distortion pedal. He has one pickup. You know, I have to wear him out about taking the guitar out with, like, let me give you a front pickup in one of the.
It's the same thing, please.
Yeah, so so Phil, it's a different story. For me, it's a part of a feel when I play, and I haven't tried the little wah yet, but
I haven't. I had a Crybaby back when I was starting to play guitar, in '93 or something. I got a Crybaby and it broke, and I never really replaced it. And then, as a Steve Vai fan, I got the Bad Horsey, which is cool, but it's for what he does. He like wahs one note, which you can't necessarily do with a Crybaby because you gotta crank it on, you gotta put it on. Yeah. So it's a different beast altogether. Yeah. And literally, those are the only experiences I have with wahs. And now I'm working with Carl Martin, and they have one wah. I'm sorry, I'm just weird. I hope you can handle weird.
Dude, you ain't weird. I hang around some weird people.
Okay, good then.
That's funny though.
That's fun.
I like that.
And so I just say, hey, I get free shit from Carl Martin. Send me this and this and this and the wah. And I didn't even look at the product page. So this thing comes, and I'm wahing around. There's two lights, a red one and a green one. And I'm like, how do you switch it to green? And what does it do? And I write Søren, I was an idiot. Like, how do you get to green? I had no idea. It's two wahs in one.
I don't know either.
So it's the left side, you have three different wah characteristics. That's the red side. And the right side, you have three different wah characteristics. I'm German. Yeah. Characteristics that you can pick and choose from. And in the front, you click it on. And then when you heel down, you can switch.
That's too much, man.
Yeah, but I thought so. And I was afraid that when you're, in the moment, you're accidentally switching.
I would be switching because I'm so undisciplined. Could never be like so. I'm like I'm a punk rock surfer at heart, right? So I have one of those wahs that the ones I remember that the old DODs. They turn on, you turn them off by bringing them back, and then you flip. So I would rock it, and I kept turning it off, right? It's like
okay. I thought it would happen. I used it on a couple of sessions and a couple of songs, and it was awesome because we could sit there, and in the chorus, I wanted to create a pad with a very low kind of sweep, not like a waka chugga thing. Yeah. And I could bring these guitar chords up, and then I wanted like a higher watt clean thing, and I had the same thing. Click, click, switch. It was awesome.
I like the idea of having the different sounds. But you know the real secret though. I talked about this in the movie. There's a movie about the invention of the wah-wah pedal.
Really?
You haven't seen it? Yeah, it's online. It's in 4 parts. Dunlop made it, and it's a true history. It's a documentary about the wah-wah pedal. And I'm lucky enough I'm in it with a lot of guys. Zach Wild.
If not you, then come on.
Well, everybody's in it. A lot of guys we know are in it. A lot of famous rock stars are in it. Much more famous than me. And I talked about what you just talked about. I talked about after a while, not just using the wah for your Wah Wah Watson, because Wah Wah Watson was in the documentary, right? And not just using the wah for your Jimi Hendrix, kind of thing, right? I got to the point in the 90s where I was really using the wahs as tone generators. And I realized that if I stuck the guitar into the wah, then the wah into the distortion out to the amp, it sounded more like Hendrix with, a cream or something, which was dope. Okay, but then I'd stick another wah on the end of the signal. And if I closed that fucking wah and I blasted so much gain into it, as much gain as I could possibly do, it's just like, I described it in the movie as you have a pipe of water, right? Mm-hmm. And the audio is the water. And so the wah is like it closes it. So when it's back, it's like, ooh, the water can't get through, and then you open it, wah, and the sound goes through. So I bring that wah back at the end with this gain piling up to
like a dam,
creating pressure,
like a dam. Yeah.
And so when you open it up, when you want to get that, you get that big wah when you put it at the back. When you put it in the front, it's like.
Okay, I gotta try this.
So I there's a lot of years where you'll see old pedal boards of me on tour where I had a wah in the beginning and a wah in the end, and one in the end was more for like wah, doing this like when I wanted my guitar to sound like a mini Moog or something, right? That's how I
gotta get myself more wahs. I mean, Dunlop makes them. I was whenever I could, when we were standing around like at the bar at the hotel, I was humping Daryl Ender's leg a little bit, just like a little bit, hey Daryl, come on, MXR, Daryl. He's like swatting me away. And like, Daryl, MX, get me MXR stuff. So I'm hoping that's, I don't know if he likes that kind of stuff. I don't know. I'm really hoping. Or I never get MXR now. That's the other possibility.
You got to talk. You know what? Jimmy's my best friend, right? Jimmy Dunlap. We've traveled the world together for 20 years, 25 years.
Do I need to hump you like? Is that,
You need to talk to
is
him.
that how I get to that?
Jimmy's the man. I mean, he is the man. Jimmy and I I was playing Lollapalooza this year. Jimmy and I went down for his birthday, and we stayed in South America for a little while. I mean, he would love to meet you because he likes talking about his gear, and that's what he does. So yeah, you need to use that stuff.
We get along. Okay, I want to hit a whole bunch of subjects. One of the reasons why I want to talk to you, and you guys need to check that shit out, is I lived in Boston, went to Berkeley, all very heady music, I studied arranging, and someone sent me from Germany, I think, a CD, and it was Rats.
Sass Jordan record that I produced.
And it blew my mind. My favorite vocalist in the world, she is.
Sass?
Yes.
I talked to Sass yesterday.
I'm friends with her on Facebook because my dream came true a couple of years ago. She sang on one of my albums. She sang 2 songs.
Get out of here, really?
I'm getting freaking goosebumps right now thinking about it. It's a big prog rock album, and there's Steve Walsh from Kansas is on it, and
I think she told me about that.
And Charlie Dominici from Dream Theater, a whole bunch of people, Michael Sadler from Saga, and Janice Ian was supposed to sing the female role, and she's very quiet singer-songwriter.
This was a few years ago, right?
Yeah.
I remember she told me about this.
Roswell 6 is the project, yeah.
I don't remember the name, but I remember she told me she was doing some kind of prog thing.
Yeah. And so Janice Ian was supposed to sing. Janice Ian is a Grammy Award-winning, songwriter, and she's this old, short lady, gray hair, and completely wrong for this prog metal thing that I was writing. Okay. And I talked to Janice, and she's like, and I'm like, you know what? I was really imagining like Sass Jordan. She's like, then ask Sass Jordan because I'm wrong for this. I'm stepping back from this. And so the label writes her, and she says yes. And I'm like, okay. So how do I, because she's in Canada.
She's in Canada.
So how do I communicate things with her? And I can hit the notes, but I sound horrible anywhere. So I lay down the rough vocal, and I've worked with big ass vocalists, Sebastian Bach, James Labrie. Yeah. I've never had it where I give away a rough vocal. I usually produce and I form the vocalist. I want to be behind my mind.
So you didn't go to Canada?
No. I just let her do it, and I was anxious about that. It comes back where she got everything that I provided, and she interpreted it amazingly. My vision was hit down to the dot. When I hear I don't listen to a lot of my own music at all, but when I listen to those songs, goosebumps every time.
While you're gone,
people walk up to me at least once a month and go, Sass Jordan Rats album is my desert island album.
Absolutely.
All the time. And people really studied, like guys like Phil X and stuff that were living in Canada. When that album came out, that was just like...
She's brilliant and she's got this insane raw power, but it's supported by the insane raw, dirty nastiness of the guitars.
Well, it was a concept. It was a concept from the start. I worked with Sass. I met Sass when my first album, Color Code, came out.
Which I bought.
Oh, right on. And so Sass really loved it. She loved this song called Blind. And then Sass and I started dating, right? She, I was a young rock star. I just finished Rod Stewart. I'm on tour. She's a young rock star. She has these big hits in Canada. She was hot.
And she's I was just going to say, she's gorgeous.
Yeah, it was
still
really
is.
fun.
I mean, come on.
It was really, really fun. And then when she did the Racine album, her and I worked together and we wrote a couple of really nice songs, and I played on a lot of that album. I was going to produce it. In fact, she wanted me to produce it, but the other guy was a little safer bet, and the label wanted the other guy. and I was a little bit of a loose cannon. And so the other guy produced it, this guy named Rick, and we had some great songs. A song called "You Don't Have to Remind Me" was a really popular song.
On these albums, there isn't a bad song on. If you don't know this stuff, just to get a taste, listen to "It's Pissing Down."
No, I wrote that.
That is. Oh God, yeah. And that's how it starts. This beautiful, lovely sing-song melody. Wait.
I gotta remember how to play it. Hold on.
Come on. Yeah, that's it. So beautiful, and it.
I don't know what made me. I used to strum that pattern all the time.
It spirals into. It starts like this, and she's singing beautifully, and then this chorus comes in, and it is the rawest female power that you can imagine. And then with every chorus, she goes further. I get. You can thank goosebumps.
She'll be mad at me for saying this, but you can thank me for that. I used to push and push and push her. She wanted to be pushed. She wanted to go there.
I know what it's like.
Like that last note, when she goes, "It's pissing down." I don't even think she knew she could hit those notes. She was so in the zone and so just emotionally like. It was a great record to make, and it was a hard record to make because she was really testifying. And I pushed and I'm a real pushy guy, and we fought a lot. But it was like we knew we were making something really special and something really raw. At the time when everybody was getting over slick, we went the opposite. It was her concept. We were really into Robin Trower, Bridge of Sighs. We'd sit around my house in Hollywood. All my friends, Richie Kotzen was my neighbor, and we'd all just sit around at my house. Everyone was staying at my house, Terrence Trent D'Arby and Julian Lennon or whoever.
Richie Kotzen is his neighbor, of course.
So we'd all sit around my house. Richie's on the Rats album too.
I know.
And so we would all just like hang out and listen to music. And we were all getting into that Robin Trower, Bridge of Sighs album, I remember. And that's why we did Damage. Ripping off Day of the Eagle, right? on that bridge on Damaged. And we thought Sass was singing raw. I wanted her voice really dry and really gnarly. And I wanted the guitars to have that sort of a skanky, I used this 65 Fender Deluxe reverb on most of the record. People think it's a Marshall. I only used a Marshall on some of it. It's mostly a 65 blackface Fender Deluxe reverb that I've done a million albums on, including I even just used it for some Justin Timberlake sessions recently. And I did this song with T.I. that sold 2 million copies called Dead and Gone. And that's that same amp. Okay. And it was the same guitar that I did the Rats album on, this old Strat that my friends had built me, Scotty Lentz and a few guys built for me in San Diego when I was a kid, with some Bill Lawrence pickups. But that album, we had a concept to stay really raw and and do that. And it really, that record's really affected a lot of people.
It works as a whole, it works individually. Rats, Sass Jordan, it is, for me it was eye-opening. We Germans, we're very, very strict, we're very organized. We do not do the silly. We're very... And for me, I grew up with my dad listening to Bach, Mozart, and Beethoven, and that's where he drew the line. And with Vivaldi, that was pop music. Yeah. So my brother listened to some prog, which is also very organized. So the stuff that filled us and that you do, where you just take the guitar and you make it scream. For me, that's the goal, because I can arrange, I can produce, I can arrange, I can put the puzzle pieces in order. In the right German order, if you know what I mean. But
you don't let yourselves get too out of control.
Yeah,
and we're living now. I'm constantly out of control.
And I wish I could go there. Which actually brings me to a question. These questions come. I have things I want to ask you. Let's talk about this culture. You're American Indian.
Yeah.
And that is clearly a culture that has musical influences, rhythmical influence.
Yeah.
How much has that background influenced you musically?
I don't know, because I don't think about it. I just do what I do, right? But I mean, if you think about it, and I have thought about it later in life, because I went to work at the Smithsonian, National Museum of the American Indian, to work on an exhibit there about Native American musicians and the history of pop music. And the thing that kept coming up between, you know, Link Ray, he invented distorted guitar in 1958 with Rumble, you know what I mean? He influenced, you know, Slash and I were talking, I'm doing a film about this, and Slash said, one day I was sitting home and I wanted to realize, wait a minute, we all listen to Beck, we all listen to Clapton, we all listen to Townsend, we all listen to, and that's Pete Townsend, we listen to Devin Townsend too, but we're talking about Pete Townsend.
Pete Townsend.
And, you know, and we all listen to, you know, the Kinks and Jimmy Page. And Slash said, one day I wanted to research, who did they listen to? And
that's a good question.
And he said this, and it's true, the name that kept coming up was Link Ray.
Never heard that name in my life.
You need to study Link Ray, dude.
Okay, good then.
He did instrumental music that like Johnny Depp and everybody uses in his films. You know, this is it's a song Rumble. It's like. So he did it too. And you see Jimmy Page in that movie, it might get loud, and he's playing air guitar to it. And so, you know, he was a Native American musician, and he was completely out of control. Completely losing his mind. You know, doing this distorted guitar in the 50s. And so the other thing that I noticed was the rhythm. Everybody had a weird sense of rhythm. Like Robbie Robertson has a different type of sense of rhythm the way he plays. Link Ray, Jesse Ed Davis, Randy Castillo from Ozzy. Mm-hmm. They said, you know, when he would play metal, it had the metal bits that you need, but it had this other thing. Mike Inez described it like someone riding on the back of a horse. Is that my cell phone? Sorry, I'm very popular, you know.
But what?
Most popular guy in Germany about it. You know how it is.
I know how it is, because right now, only because he's here, I'm the second most popular guy.
You are the most popular guy. You're sitting around here, you got Phil X, you got all the boys coming in. But, you know, so yeah, the Native American thing, you know, and I have a bit of an anger in my DNA. I think it's my DNA. Why I have dreams about killing people. And why, you know what I mean? I'm like, I have dreams where I'm running in the desert and I'm fighting for my life. And I think it's just in my DNA cell memory, you know, about maybe something happened to me in another lifetime. I don't know. But when I play guitar, I truly feel like I want to destroy all comers. And I don't play great when I'm just sitting around. Like, you know, a lot of guys can sit around. I don't do that. And I can't sit around the campfire and like rip.
No, you got to be in the moment on stage.
God, when it's time when you're in like war, like I look at it like this. Like if I had to go to a battle, I'm gonna live, and I'm not gonna die. I'm gonna be the one who fucking lives.
And that's how you play.
And that's how I play my guitar. You know, so like last night you saw me get on stage with Phil X and Billy Sheehan. I'm arguably two of the greatest musicians of our generation. You know, like you know, you could talk about them in history. Yes. Two of the greatest. And when you get on stage with those guys, you know, you gotta really like bring it. You can't just go up there and be like goofing around, man, because they'll make you look stupid.
And this guy goes up on stage. Phil is like, hey, there's no mic on the amp. A clear oversight, by the way. And he just goes, and this is, you know, this is showing true greatness, because as great as he is, he's like, no, it's cool, I'm just gonna play rhythm, it's fine. Cranks up the amp, gets the audience, you know, from the stage, that's it. And he's just like, hey, I'm here with Phil X, I'm playing rhythm, it's cool.
Yeah.
I'm like, come on.
Yeah. I wanted to sing.
You know how to play, but you're like, that's cool, we've got Phil X here, everything's covered.
Yeah, I don't need to go show off. You know what I mean?
That was humbling.
You know what's great is Rex from Pantera goes, what's that rhythm you're playing? My God, I never heard that. You got to come down. And he gave him goosebumps when I broke into whatever that.
Yeah, way cool.
And he gave him goosebumps, and I'm like, I can give Rex from Pantera goosebumps, man. I'm doing something all right?
And then by accident twice, the cable got ripped out of the pedal.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, Rex from Pantera is replugging my...
Rex kept jumping up and fixing my shit.
This only happens at Warwick Base Camp.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. And I was wondering when I looked at this guitar, and now we gotta talk about... I talked about this all week in all the videos. I was like, why does he need the kill switch? And yesterday night, that you don't say that. Last night, I realized why you need the kill switch,
I
because
did that last night.
Yeah,
it
was awesome. But he was playing in Mayfield. So the first day we didn't have anything to do. So for an hour we did some bass reviews downstairs in the room where they sell them, and then we did 3 different models of this one. We looked at the single coil version, which is standing right there.
Oh, yeah.
That was the first one I tried.
Yeah.
And
how's that one sound?
Fucking insane. I have good guitars at home, okay? I got high-end PRS guitars, I got LSLs, I mean, I got good strats, I got good shit. And I played this, I'm like, this is up on that level, if not even just a tiny bit better.
We did something really right with the Idlemaker. I don't know, it's taken the world by storm. It's like, you know what, the NAMM show this year? 2 years ago at the NAMM show, we debuted the Idlemaker. I flew over here, designed it with Marcus, and we just showed it and it was in every magazine, and everybody was talking about it. And before that, the Warwick booth was just loaded with bass players. And all of a sudden, we got a little guitar love. And this year at NAMM, last January, I brought Phil X in, and then we have William from Alice in Chains, and we have Devin Townsend, and we have Blackbird McKay. All of a sudden, our booth is packed full of guitar players talking about frameless guitars. So we're really doing something special, and people are really digging it.
When I first saw it,
and we want to keep it cool. I think Paul Reed Smith kind of got uncool. He got associated with a lot of goony dudes and a lot of guitar players who are sort of like kind of goons, and I want to keep it cool. You know what I mean?
But when I first saw it, I was like, well, it doesn't look like my kind of thing. I'm honest, okay? I thought it was very original, but just like looking at the picture, I was like, yeah, not my kind of thing, and that's it got pushed in the back of my head. So
what happened?
Well, I picked up the single coil thing. I'm like, holy crap! The next one was the one that's hanging downstairs with humbuckers. It's the single coil is Ash, and then Nordstrand pickups. Kerry Nordstrand's an old friend of mine, so I'm already a fan of that. So then next one, mahogany unpainted, just like this.
Yeah.
But you see the mahogany, beautiful frame top in the middle, and then 2 humbuckers. And this guy sits next to me in the video, and I strum a power chord, just like that's why I do the clean.
Yeah.
And his jaw drops.
Yeah.
And we're like, this guitar is light, it is thin, it is ergonomic, and it's got this.
It's like a Ferrari. I mean, it's how thin it is right there.
It's got this huge mahogany sound, and then we're like, okay, now we go one step further. We get the Stevie Salas signature, which is slightly different because it's got a P90 style in the front. It's got the kill switch, and what else? Can you go single coil somewhere in the back?
Yeah,
can you tap it?
On mine you can. On this one you can't.
It might have.
Might be in there.
Okay.
Mine I can pull them.
Yeah.
Because I have mine. I still have the original prototype where me and Phil X and Marcus were sliding this pickup around, getting it to where the sweet spot was. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah. So we played this one, and it's only really a hair better than the normal humbucker version. Slightly different, of course, with the P90.
Well, this thing gives you a little bit more opportunity there.
Yeah, it's a little bit dirtier, a bit grittier. But the ergonomics, the high end. Listen to this. Just crank it up.
Yeah, I mean,
Crank it up.
with this thing, you can.
Fatness.
What's the song?
My God, don't put me on the spot. It's definitely from the album.
The Rats album.
Yeah, definitely.
And you got me thinking about that. That's that song Slave.
Yeah, no. You gotta get this freaking album, and please don't listen to it on Spotify. Just go and buy it.
Yeah, I gotta remember all those.
I was just gonna say you can play all this stuff now.
Well, I wrote them. You know that I'm gonna play a concert with Sass, with her band. And
SUN, isn't that the band?
No, not
that's
her
the
band
thing.
with Brian Tishy.
Okay.
Brian Tishy is the guy playing drums. The guy and Son, her partner. His first album he ever did, his first professional recording was I Wrote Easy.
Mm-hmm.
And then he did my album Back from the Living with Born to Mac and Tell Your Story Walking and all those songs of mine from Color. We did all those around the same year.
Mm-hmm.
We did. I was doing Terence Trent D'Arby, Symphony or Damn, Sass Jordan Rats, and Stevie Salas Electric Power, and the Stevie Salas Back from the Living album, all at the same time, and in the Buddy Miles Bootsy Collin Harbor album with Bill Laswell, all around the same period of time. And even some of the Nickelback stuff with Bernard Fowler. It was a real creative time. And it's all Brian Tishy, who's her partner on the Sun record. That's Brian Tishy and all that stuff as well. He was drumming on all that. He's playing guitar with her on that Sun, but he actually was the drummer on all that.
Oh, okay.
He's really a drummer. And he's a good guitar player too, but he's an amazing drummer. And I hate losing great drummers. We're like, we need another friggin' guitar player, right?
Yeah.
That was those songs in Sass we're playing in the Yukon at some big festival called the Blue Feather Festival in November, and her band's playing on Friday or Saturday, and my trio, Color Code, is playing on the other side. So I'm going to see her. We're going to play together. So
say hi, please.
Yeah, I will. I'll tell her you said hi, and she's going to play all those great songs that we wrote together. Yeah.
Back to the guitars, because I really want to do Frame as a Solid here. We need to talk about these. I was completely impressed, and I'm gonna say this, I'm gonna burn the bridges right here, like Bon Jovi sings about now. With Fender, I got a very nasty email from Fender about them dictating what I need to use and them not giving me shit for it. Nothing.
Did you tell them to fuck off?
I would have that conversation next week.
I would.
They want to give me a Mexico telly as a loaner. That's not giving me shit.
And they want you to like promote it for them, help you sell a multi-billion-dollar conglomerate.
Exactly.
You know, I worked at American Idol, right, for 4 seasons as a music director and a consultant with 19 Entertainment. And I did Daughtry, Jordan Sparks, David Cook, Adam Lambert, and Chris Allen, and I don't know, during 4 seasons. It was big. Those were the big seasons. And Gibson guitars would come down, and we'd be doing Jay Leno, Saturday Night Live, Ellen, all the big TV shows. And this one jackass that worked at Gibson, I used to throw him out of the studio. I kicked him out of the studio. I forget his name.
Thank you.
Yeah, because he goes, hey, we'll get this young kid who can't afford to buy this Les Paul, But we're a $1 billion public company or whatever, and we're going to ask you to tell this young kid who can't afford to buy this guitar because he's only making $1,500 a week or whatever right now, but you can play this guitar on TV, and we'll let you use it, and then you got to give it back. And I said, go fuck yourself. Get fucking out of here.
Exactly.
It's like you're going to use that kid to give you national television exposure and not even have the courtesy to give him the fucking guitar.
Thank you.
It's fucking bullshit.
The moment I got the email, I was sitting right there a couple of days ago. I walked up to Marcus and Hans-Peter, said, what can we do? On my channel, I need single coil guitars. I need to present things as single coil guitars. But I'm never, after this, am going to show a Fender instrument in any video. Can I get an Idlemaker with single coils?
I'm doing an Idlemaker right now with 3 singles that sounds insane. That's made out of alder.
I said, I play this, I'll show it. People will say it doesn't look like a Strat. I'm like, I don't care. If it sounds like it, it's gonna serve my purpose. And people need to know how good these things are. See, a couple of years ago, I played a couple of frames and looked for my students for guitars, and they felt super solid. They felt solid, well built, but it felt a little bit like a brick. It felt too. Yeah. I wasn't super comfortable. They were good quality.
This was before I got involved.
Yeah, and now every guitar I pick up, mind blown. They're not cheap. I mean, we're talking about high-end guitars here, okay? They're not inexpensive guitars. But
there'll be affordable ones coming that'll still be great, though.
But if you're in the market for something in that price range, you owe it to yourself to pick up a Pantera, and especially this model.
It's like this: a Formula One car costs a fortune. But it's where all the R&D is done. So like these ones are like the prototypes of the first years of these things, and they were expensive to figure out. We're still changing them. I'm doing Telecaster versions and Strat pickup versions, and it's like you have to. Like there's Wolf Hoffman. Wolf's Flying V is insane. I mean that's insane.
I heard about it.
What an incredible piece of work, man. And so then you do the work on the Formula One level, right? And you get these things worked out, and then you're able to start figuring out how to make the guitars more affordable. So yeah, they're a little expensive right now, and I get a lot of complaints about that. But we're gonna have that.
This one, can you hand it to me, the blue one?
My new Strat version of this one, by the way, will blow this one away.
Really?
Yeah.
I want them to hear the single coil sound of this. I'm gonna rip the cable right out from Stevie Salas. This is the bastard that I am.
Take it.
So
wait till you hear the new one I'm working on right now. The prototype.
This is how good I play when he's here. Well, if it's in tune, it actually sounds even better. But this is a single coil sound.
Let's do that crappy amp.
Oh God. These tuners are awesome. They're Graphtec, what are they, ratio tuners. They feel different at first, but then once you get used to them, you have a lot of control. This is
so badass. And look how cool you look. You can play that guitar if you're a punk rocker. You can play that guitar if you're a jazz guy. You can play that guitar if you're a metal guy.
But you know what? For me, I was never into SGs. What I hated about them is that it felt compared to everything else I played, removed to the left. Because the bridge is so far to the left in the body, and if I usually play an F here on the SG, it's over here. And this feels a little bit like this, and then we looked at it like, and then it's a little bit to the left, and the pin is here.
Yeah.
So actually some guy from Warwick said, ask him about the balance. Because he said when it's on the strap, it hangs perfectly straight. Yeah. It's not like this. It doesn't go down like an FG would. It is absolutely perfectly straight.
Perfect, yeah.
And it is light. And look at this stuff. I mean, you've seen it in our demo. I mean, there's wooden something cavity covers. I don't know what it's called. On this one, we got a wraparound, and here we have the two piece. Is that all prototype playing around stuff?
Yeah, well, you know, down here at the Famous Custom Shop, you know, I fly out, you know, it takes forever to get it. I have to fly like 10, 12 hours to some, you know, Berlin or somewhere. And then I get a car that picks me up and drives me 3 hours to here to the Czech border. I mean, it's a serious commitment. So when we're here, though, the factory, the famous Warwick factory, is like a guitar player's paradise. I mean, you walk through every kind of wood. There's nothing I can't try. And you know, Phil X came here. The first time I brought him all the way here, I got him to come all the way out here. And he's been trying to get a big neck. He likes big necks. And within the first hour and a half we were here, he had his dream neck. He's like, this is amazing. He was almost crying.
On the second day, he took a guitar home.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know, here we would take the first original Idlemakers were just chunks of wood. We were chopping into the shape and you know, and it was a plain guitar with electronics. But they were just like mock-ups. It's like we have a state-of-the-art Formula One factory here for experimenting. We can design our own manifolds and our own carburetors. We can do whatever we want. I mean, look at the way these cuts are. We're constantly experimenting. We're doing versions now of the Idlemaker with less maple, but you know, more thinner maple caps with more.
It's beautiful. I mean, everywhere there's like these three-dimensional things, and it's absolutely amazing.
And it all serves a purpose because the thickness is in the middle where the tone is, and then out here it just saves the weight.
The only thing that I'm afraid of, to be completely honest, and I'm always really straight shooter. The only thing I'm afraid of is, we talked about this when it comes to basses, is guitar players are fucking idiots when it comes to. I'm sorry, fucking idiots out there if you are offended by this, but we are fucking idiots.
If you're a fucking idiot, then you're cool with it. But all you guys that aren't fucking idiots, don't be offended.
Okay, good then. We are creatures of habit. For single coil sound, we need to see that classical whatever company shape, and when it's mahogany, we want to see the Les Paul shape, and even when it's a PRS single cut, which are great guitars, but it's slightly different, and we don't buy it anymore because it doesn't look like slash plated. Yeah. We are so.
See, I don't know. See, I've never been that guy.
Me neither.
I was always the guy that, like, when I was a kid, and I remember seeing the Kiss Alive 2 tour when I was really young. And Paul Stanley walked out with that Ibanez Iceman, and I didn't know it was an Ibanez or an Iceman because I didn't even know what an Ibanez was when I was that young. But I just remember seeing that guitar going, that's the most insane thing I'd ever saw. I remember looking at the back of his guitars, and he had an L6S, you know, and I'm like, what's that? And but I also remember having a romantic feeling of always wanting a Les Paul Custom, you know. But I always liked the idea. If you like those old records I did, most of them are hybrid guitars with weird combinations of Strat pickups and Bill Lawrence pickups. Bill Lawrence was the genius that nobody talks about. He was a genius. And you know, there's how are you going to sound different if you just use exactly what everyone else uses?
Absolutely. But Warwick needs to make money, okay? I mean, this is a business that is passionate about stuff.
These are kicking ass. These are selling like crazy.
Really?
They're expensive as shit, yeah.
Actually, this 3,000. Oh, they cranked up the price. I think we were at 3,200 for this one, 3,900.
Now, you know, because all the ones that we've been selling, these custom ones that guys are ordering, are like over $5,000.
Yeah, okay, well, that's not a cheap guitar.
No, that's crazy. But now we're going to have versions of them that are going to be half that price, and less than half that price.
But they're selling so because I would imagine that it's a new shape. It clearly is. Yeah, I would say it's explorer-y, but really not.
It's maybe a bit like a Mosrite. I was really after a Mosrite mixed with a Firebird, mixed with like whatever.
A little bit Firebirdy, I can see that, but it's definitely an original shape.
I want some shit that's hung out. I want to play punk rock, you know. I want it to be like. If you watch Johnny Ramone, and it looks like he's got the Mosrite, it's all.
But Joey Ramone would do it this way.
Yeah.
He plays on a shoulder, this.
And look at that.
Shoulder.
But look how cool that looks. Tell me that doesn't look like.
I always tell my students, out of your wrist. Then some of them do it out of their elbow.
Yeah.
No, he had shoulder.
But check it out. The point is that he was playing a Mosrite, and it really inspired me the way he looked with that Mosrite rocking. You know what I mean?
Well, I'm gonna do my best, whatever I can do on my channel. If they put some in my studio to make people understand that this is a kick-ass guitar.
Oh yeah.
I wanna play it.
It's got the most amazing write-ups too. I mean, people are writing it up. I saw a thing in Guitar Player the other day where the guy goes, "I just sit down on it, like it plays itself." It's like
insane action, and it looks nice and polished, but it's got that. If you, how can you do this? That's dirty. And in the front.
Wait till you get the new Strat one that we're working on right now. It's the Strat Pickup one. It's insane. It's insane.
So I hope I can show these to you on a regular basis. And if
Hans
not,
Peter, I said I gotta have one of the Stevie Salas. I need the Stevie Salas Idlemaker. Phil X is even taking one of those on tour with Bon Jovi.
I saw it.
Alice in Chains is playing with him.
But what a shame. I have to kick his ass later. I saw it being built downstairs. The middle piece is mahogany. It's not maple.
He's doing an all mahogany one.
Yeah.
Like a giant Les Paul Jr.
And high gloss black. What a freaking waste.
No, it's not gonna be high gloss.
No?
No, you do
Flat
it.
black?
No, it's gonna be like satin. You do it in high gloss, and then they sand it, and then they paint it over with the satin, and it looks like the satin. It'll look insane.
Because I bitched at him because we did a review of his Phil X model in high gloss black, and you touch it, and I spent 15 minutes polishing it to be able to put it back on the wall. And he's like, no, when my guitar tech comes, I go, wow, that's the way it needs to look. So I gave it to him and said, okay, do it. And I spent another 15 minutes polishing it because we're guests here, and I'm not putting it back on the wall like that. Even though it's original Phil X fingerprints.
I think that there's a high polished black with binding all the way around it that they made for me at the NAMM show, and William from Alice in Chains saw it, and he's like, I want that guitar. I love that guitar. So I want that guitar. And I go, William, you want that guitar? And he's like, I want that guitar. I fucking love that guitar. So William took it. So William's using it on tour with Alice in Chains now, and I'll just go make another one. Yeah. So those high black gloss ones with all the, they remind you of, remember when Dean first came out, when it was still Dean Zielinski, and he had those Cadillacs, they called them, they had binding with all this shit. I like all that kind of shit. But I'm making a new one right now. I'm making 2 new ones right now that are literally look like they're from 1960. Super relic, really warm,
Nice.
with binding all around the binding, but all relicked up with a P90 and then the Bill Lawrence OBLs in the front that are really hard to find. That one's gonna be insane.
Now the purple, because the first image I ever saw was the purple. That's the one they've got down there. Is that your thing?
Purple. If you go back to the early days of me, and you look when I first really came out in 1990, I did a deal with Yamaha, and I created a purple Pacifica guitar, and that became the purple guitar. Now I'm going to say this, and it sounds egotistical, and I don't mean it to sound egotistical, but this is pretty factual. Nobody was rocking the purple guitar right? And I started rocking this purple guitar in Europe, and I'm not talking Prince with Purple Rain, because he was doing a little bit, it was a different thing. And I don't even think he had a purple guitar then. But I played this purple guitar, and then I became huge in Japan. I don't know why, just huge. And then Ibanez had the purple ones, and then everyone started coming with that purple color. It became really popular. And people seem to always associate. That's why when the Gaeto and Stevie Salas rocker pedal came out, they made it purple. Okay. Because I don't know why, but they associated that color with me. And really, it's Prince's color, right? I mean, he's
I got 8-meter high letters on my house in purple. The 42, my house is this color, and the 42, 8-meter high letters in purple. So I'm right there with you. And this is a deep purple, if you know what I mean.
Ooh, so we're gonna have to play some deep purple. Wasn't that awesome when they played Burn last night? I know they played Highway Star last night.
Oh, with the energy on stage. I have the whole show with him, with everyone on 4 cameras. And I'm gonna release this stuff, you're gonna hear it. That was the best rock show I've seen in my life. And I thought I had seen it all, and then they were like, hey Stevie, come up. I'm like, oh my God, now I can die.
Well, it really was okay when it came up? Because I didn't know how I could act.
Oh my God.
After they did Highway Star, I'm like, how are you ever gonna top
No,
that?
it was amazing. You did your thing, and you were you, and everyone was.
You know what it is?
Hands down, the best thing I've ever seen in my life.
Let me tell you something. We have now that we're all older, like, and you see me and Richie Kotzen and Guthrie Govan even, and Phil X and Billy, I mean, we've been around so long now, and we've somehow survived, you know, through the 90s and the 2000s, and we're all older now, and we have a real profound love for each other. So we see each other, and we're like excited to be alive, kind of like Billy Sheehan. I mean, I've known Billy Sheehan 30 years, man. You know, Phil X didn't make it till he was in his 40s. You know, and Phil X said something in a movie one time that was pretty awesome. He said that there was a time where they were studying my shit. You know, studying color code and that. He said, yeah, there's a thing. All us guys, we studied everything. We knew everything Stevie was doing. We studied, and I was like, I had no idea that there's somebody who's like as great as Phil X. You know what I mean? And so it makes me feel just so good about being around him.
He only got great because he knows all this. See, that's my biggest failure. I never learned a lot of I never learned Van Halen and all this stuff. I was always into creating my own things.
Yeah.
And I look at Phil and he's like, okay, what that song? Wait,
he can play anything. And he does it like beyond. He does it better. Like if he played my songs, he'd probably play them better than me.
He's the type of guy, and I see you as the same type of guitar player that I don't have the talent, I can't do this, and you get jealous of people who have this. But you guys, you can't get mad at that. It's just so good that you simply gotta say, fuck it. Yeah. Every kind of success you have, you deserve. Period. Yeah. Okay? And if I don't have it, it's because I'm not that good. And that's simply the truth.
You have to respect though, what's going on up there. Like, I can't stand it when you see a great guy up there and somebody gets up there and ham and eggs it up, you know, and really sucks. Because all of us guys, I expect Billy Sheehan to be on another level, or it's disappointing to me. I expect Phil X to be on another level, or it's disappointing for me. I expect Richie Kotzen to be on another level. Guthrie Govan, we don't even mention his name because he's so already on a whole nother level that all of us kind of go.
The only experience I have with Guthrie, I have a lisp, so Guthrie Govan is Guthrie. Sorry, Guthrie. The only thing I have with him is, other than seeing him on YouTube, I met him at the aquarium in Boston.
Yeah.
And I didn't recognize him. I had a student of mine with me that I wanted to get into Berkeley. So we're looking at seals. You know seals? And not Navy SEALs. No. So and he's like, dude, that's Guthrie Govan. I'm like, he's not at the aquarium. No, that's Guthrie Govan. He's totally geeking out. He's a kid. And I'm like, yeah, as if. So we go over there and he's like, are you Guthrie Govan? He's like, yeah. He's like super. I always be like, yeah.
He's like Gandalf.
Yeah. And Moritz is like, okay, can we take a picture? And I'm like, just like, click. And Moritz is like, get totally giddy. Like, what's Guthrie over there? Like, so and we go this way, and Guthrie looks at the, seals. So that was my encounter with the bearded man.
Guthrie is the most down dude. He's like so cool.
If I could interview him, we could geek out.
He's so unassuming. You know, I hadn't heard Guthrie, and Richie Kotzen and I went to England to do some tour dates together where we were doing this crazy thing where we both had a guitar amp and a bass amp behind us, and we would switch. So some songs I would play bass and Richie would play guitar, and I would sing or he would sing, and then we'd switch and he'd put the bass on and I'd grab the guitar and then I'd play guitar. Wow. And we'd take turns singing, and it was bitchin'. It was really awesome. But I'd never heard of Guthrie. I heard his name, but I didn't know much about him. And Richie told me on the flight over, he goes, there's one guy, because there's all these other guys that are really good, but they all bore the shit out of me. It's kind of like they don't affect me. But there's this guy, Guthrie, that scares, Richie's like, he scares me. He's like, he's so on another level. If Richie
Kotzen says that, who is on another level, but there's nothing Guthrie cannot play.
Exactly, and it's like,
there's nothing physically.
He's unbelievable. And he's unassuming. He's just like, he's like, yes. But he does it, and it still has feeling and emotion, where a lot of those guys do it, and it just sounds like they're jerking off, you know?
And he's got a killer approach to teaching. You should watch some videos where he goes into, like, his approach to pentatonics and stuff. We need to cut this short because I promised the guys that need the room that they get the room, otherwise we'd sit here forever.
All right. Well, there you go. That's the Guthrie's tribute. Thank you, Guthrie. You owe me one.
I can't possibly thank you enough for hanging out with us, talking about these amazing guitars that I really want to get my hands on. Yeah, I'll do some reviews of them if they send me some, definitely. And I'll try to push them as much as possible, Hans. Listen to me. And once in a lifetime for me, Stevie Salas in Hans's chair. I was going to say in my chair, but I don't own the chair.
Well, don't make it once in a lifetime. I mean, I'm pretty easy to reach. You can find me on a beach surfing anywhere.
The German beach.
Yeah,
You're not gonna be in Frankfurt, surfing.
No, man. I try not to be in Frankfurt, period.
Yeah. Well, hey, thanks so much. What the fuck's with my list? What the fuck?
Hey, well, I'm really, really, really happy that you talked about Sass Jordan because she's somebody that really deserves some props, and that's awesome. Thank you.
Best female vocalist ever.
Yeah, she was one of my dearest, beautiful, dearest friends, and one of my most awesome girlfriends I ever had. And now she's like my sister. She's amazing. Yeah. And she's so good.
If she remembers me, please say Henning says hi and that she made me the most happy producer in the world and songwriter in this case.
I'll tell her. I'll send her an email later and tell her she'll be all excited.
Cool.
Awesome.
Thank you, Stevie.
Okay.
Sure, we take things down now because our week is done. We have. Hey, that's the other thing. How do you put them in stands? They need to make an Idlemaker stand. No, I have OCD. It needs to be straight. Come on.
So you're too German, man. You gotta loosen up.
Phil says that, yeah. Phil said the same thing. I told Phil yesterday that the way he played Highway to Hell is not efficient enough. And I had the fucking guts to tell, because he was moving like a finger, and you simply have to alternate these.
Yeah.
Which isn't an easy move to do, and he was doing something more complicated, and he had a little bit of a gap in between the chords, and he's like, dude, you might be right, but just loosen up. And he is,
dude, you gotta listen.
He's 100% right, and here's me trying to tell Phil X, hey, you know what? You play Highway to Hell inefficiently.
Yeah, right.
And I had no alcohol in me, so I don't know what made me do that.
Did you see a solo on Highway Star? It's like ridiculous.
Yeah, everything was ridiculous.
Yeah, it's like he's ridiculous.
I'm gonna spend several days editing this.
He's made me want to get better. Again, he really inspired me to want to play good. And I love playing with him. Him and I travel around a lot together, and we do a lot of shit together. And he really has made me start to dig back into playing, and I'm playing so much better now because of Phil.
How awesome is that?
Yeah, and the first time I met Phil X, he goes, hey, dude, I'm all freaked out right now. I'm like, what are you talking about? He goes, I'm kind of freaked out here standing with you, dude. I grew up listening to your I'm like, excuse me? I had no idea. I'm like, what? Are you fucking kidding me?
Yes. And here you go saying you practiced again because of him.
Well, you see a guy play that good, your competitive spirit says, I'm not going to let that guy embarrass me.
How awesome is it to be a musician and just push yourself all the time?
Why not, right? Why not? Why not be better than you can be? Why not excel and be better than you think you can ever be and just be better?
Take this to the fucking bank.
And that doesn't mean sitting there doing scales all day. It means visualizing like the Jedi. Remember when Obi-Wan covered his eyes? He said, your eyes were tricky, and he used the Force. You just got to use the Force and fucking let go and do it.
I need to let go and do it. That's my problem. I need to loosen up.
Use the Force, buddy.
Get out of here.
Even if it's Darth Vader's Force.
Don't take my mic.
Oh, I got it. Cherry on, guys.